Hey everybody, Kartik Subramaniam. I'm here showing property. I'm meeting a client here in about 15 minutes, and I wanted to share with you, record a quick video before my client gets here, on tips and techniques that I use to sell property, because frankly, I remember as a brand new agent, before I sold a home to a buyer, I would make a list of all the properties that I showed them, and a lot of my buyers, I was showing literally 15, 20, 30 properties to a given buyer before they made a decision. So I kind of wrote down some of the best practices that I use to avoid having to show a property or show a buyer, 10 or 15 or 20, 30 properties before they end up making a decision. You want to show just a few properties that really meet the client's needs and make sure that you're showing property that are relevant to their client requirements. So follow me inside. I'll share with you some of my tips and techniques to make sure that you can sell more property and not have to waste not only your time, but also your buyer's time with properties that don't really fit their needs. So I wrote a little list. Follow me inside. I'll go over those with you now. So the first thing that we want to remember before we show any property is before you even get in the house. Before you even come into the house, it's super important to plan your route. Now there's always this debate between real estate agents, like, do I show the best property first and then go back to the worst property? Or do I show the worst property first and build up to the best? Or do I follow the most logical route? Now there's no right or wrong to this. I think it probably is circumstantial, but what I would recommend doing is following the most logical route, mainly so that you can be most efficient with your client's time and respect their time so that you can get to selling, which is really the goal of showing property. So the second thing that we're going to want to do before we show property is know the area. And when I say know the area, I'm not just talking about, knowing maybe where the shopping is, but really know the area. Know where the recreation facilities are, know where the parks are, know where the schools are, know what school districts the property is in. It's important to remember that for us as real estate agents, this might seem like just another transaction, but to a buyer, this is the biggest decision, or one of the biggest decisions they're going to ever make in their entire life. So it's important for us to be as educated as possible as we show property. And one thing that I always like to do on all my listings is I ask the seller, what is it about this area and about this property that really made you want to buy here? And often, like I'm doing a deal right now in downtown LA on a condo, the owner of that condo said one of the things that they really liked about the area was that it was super close to all these cool little shops and restaurants. So there's a hotel in that area called Hotel O, for example. There's a wonderful fire pit at Hotel O that seller likes to hang out at on a Friday night with his spouse. And what's really cool about that is when I do an open house there, if I see somebody come in that open house, I'll tell that potential buyer, what the current owner really loves about this house is that they love the fact that there's a wonderful little restaurant at Hotel O downstairs. There's a wonderful fire pit down there, and they love, as a Friday night tradition, to go down there and have a couple of cocktails and wind down their week. And they really like to use that as bonding time for them as a couple, and it's just walking distance from here. So those small little things about what drew that particular owner to that house, if you can communicate that to the next buyer, that's really going to help you sell that property. So knowing the area and all the little intricacies that come with buying a home in that area are super important, and it's going to get you one step closer to success and ultimately a sale. Now the third thing, and this might seem obvious, but make sure that your key or your super is updated, either on your phone or if you use an external super device. The last thing you want is to show up to the lockbox and not be able to get in. If it's on a combo, which very few properties are, make sure that you have the combo and that you've confirmed access with the listing agent. Also, if the MLS says, call for an appointment, it's important to be respectful of that, because it's possible there could be two big Dobermans or a big German Shepherd inside, and you walk up and don't have an appointment, you get mauled by a dog, then what are you going to do, right? So very important to make sure that you've verified access and that your lockbox key and your Supra are charged up and ready to go. Now the fourth thing that I wrote down is keep their focus. So for this particular buyer that I'm meeting here, their focus really was on wanting a big master bedroom bathroom. That was one of the key things that this buyer told me they wanted. So as you can see, we have a huge master bedroom bathroom. We have a very large walk-in closet. And those are things that the buyer said that they wanted. Now, of course, for me, as I'm showing this property here in about 10 or 15 minutes to the buyer, I'm gonna make sure that that buyer spends a lot of time in this room, spends a lot of time in the closet, spends a lot of time in this bathroom, and in the master bedroom in general, because I know that's one thing that they're really looking for in a home. So keeping your buyers focused on ultimately why you're at that property in particular is going to get you one step closer to a sale. Keep that buyer focused on why they're at that property. And the last thing that we're going to want to remember as we show property is ultimately give your client space. Give your buyer time to explore the property on their own. Nobody likes having someone breathe over their shoulder. So give your client space to explore the property and have them discover all the little things that they're going to want in that home. For example, if your client wants a garden and there's a big backyard where they could plant a garden, let the client kind of explore and find that garden on their own. It's much better to have them see what they want in a home rather than have you constantly pointing it out. So give your client some space so they can discover all the things that make that house ultimately a home for that buyer. So I hope these tips have helped you as you're a new real estate agent or even a veteran agent just kind of reconnecting with our business. I hope that I can share some of my experiences and help you ultimately sell more real estate. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're welcome to follow me on Instagram. I'd love to connect with you, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.